Hello again, people. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source, quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico, and more specifically this week, guys, in the county of Valencia. Yes, people, we are back again buying more and more land in Valencia County. This property, however, I am very excited about because it's in a subdivision that I have been trying for some time to purchase land in. I will say that there's a lot to like about this property. One of the things is that it is close to development, and the second thing is that it is a generously portioned piece of property, which you don't usually find close to development. I will also tell you that they're pretty hard to find in general in Valencia County, but typically, somewhere in the history of a generously portioned property close to development, somebody comes along, some opportunist, some capitalist, and says, hey, why don't we chop this up into as many pieces of land as we can and then resell them and make a bunch of money, and then people come in and park trailers and park garbage on it. This is not that. People, this is still in a very nice, respectable, quiet little community where, of course, you not only have a lot of space, but you're also going to have a lot of privacy. Additionally, as you can see from the headline here, power, underground utilities, and additionally, the property has been staked out. There are boundary markers out there, which means you, the potential buyer, will not have to spur the Valencia County economy by purchasing a $1,000 or $2,000 survey. Your boundaries have already been dictated for you. So, with all that said, guys, a lot to like about this one. Let's get to the intro. This is reference number VLNM-6554, located as noted in the county of Valencia in the Vista Manzano Estates subdivision. This property is 10 acres of land, and as you saw up top, it is priced at $40,000. Let's bring this one up on a map, show you guys exactly where it is. As always, people, GPS coordinates down here. You know the drill. Click any one of them, and voila, Google Maps shall appear. So, first off, as always, guys, I like to acclimate people for those unfamiliar with the geography. This is Albuquerque up here, major metropolitan area within the state of New Mexico. The subject property sits just down here, roughly about 30 minutes south in Valencia County. It sits here just along the I-25 corridor and also along the Rio Grande River right here, or at least within the developed portion of the county close to the river. Of course, we sell a lot of land to people in Valencia County, particularly to people who live in the Albuquerque metro region, who work out there, but who don't necessarily want to continue to live there, or they love living there, but they don't want to keep paying the rent on the house, on the apartment, on the trailer park, so on and so forth. So they're looking for land of their own. Some of these people, if they've got enough money, they relocate to the East Mountain region. Some people relocate to Torrance County over here. But more and more we find buyers who want to own their own property. They want to have control of their own land, of their own real estate. And those people are choosing the area south of Albuquerque. That's where you find a lot of the sort of population overflow these days, moving southward into Los Lunas, which of course is the county seat of Valencia County, and generally into this region right here where property is a lot more affordable. So perhaps that describes you. Perhaps you're somebody who works in Albuquerque, doesn't want to continue to live there, but you don't mind the commute, particularly if it's only 20 or 30 minutes each day, one way. One of the benefits, of course, to being down here is that you're very close to the Rio Metro rail line, which, of course, means if you're not crazy about the drive, if you don't want to get stuck in traffic every day, you could take the train up to Albuquerque. You could take it as far north as the state capital up there in Santa Fe. And, I don't know, get some work done on the train ride, read a good book, whatever. Point being, guys, this is where the subject property is, ideally located just south of Albuquerque, so you do have access to that major metropolitan area whenever you like, whether you work there or just on the weekends. Now, let me quickly say this, guys. If you go to satellite view, just want to point out to you, this, I'm going to call it an arroyo. I'm not entirely certain what it's called, but this area down here is what separates Socorro County in the south from Valencia County in the north. As you can see, the subject property sits close to the Socorro County line, so it's in the southernmost portion of Valencia County. That, of course, is on my way of saying that it's a little bit closer to Belen over here than it is to the county seat of Los Lunas over here. Whatever the case, you are really only 5 minutes away from Belen, maybe a 10-minute drive from Los Lunas. 30 minutes, by the way, from Albuquerque, the aforementioned Albuquerque. And just as proof that civilization is right around the corner, of course, we always have photos of nearby Los Lunas, population 16,000. Belen is a little bit less. This is the aforementioned Rio Metro Rail Runner train station that I was talking about earlier. And, of course, they got post offices out here. We have all the amenities, medical services. The Walmart, guys, the Walmart. If you're going to buy the property, you're going to develop the property, you want to go on some bulk grocery runs, you're going to Walmart, supply runs, Home Depot, so on and so forth. But the point is that right in your backyard. You can have easy access to all these things. Every fast food restaurant in America has some kind of footprint out here, so on and so forth. I will return to this in just a moment. Let me cue up the plat map here, guys, because we're going to talk about this. All right, so back to this. So the point is, guys, the property sits down here. Now, this, of course, is the developed portion right here, not only along the I-25 corridor and along the Rio Grande, and just a little bit east of that is where you start to find all this kind of empty space. I will say that Valencia County has a lot of undeveloped land to the west of the highway, to the east of the highway. We've sold land in all these regions. It's always really difficult, though, to get land in areas like this that have been developed in some way where there is kind of a concentration of homes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the subject property we're going to talk about is located over here. What I want to talk about first, however, is this subdivision. So, as I had queued up the plat map earlier, this is Vista Manzano Estates. This is the plat map. This is not Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 10. This is it. This is the subdivision, the whole thing right here. Okay, so you got lot number 1 over here. This thing goes all the way to 16. 17's over here, goes up to 55, 56 to 60. You've got 60, roughly give or take, 10-acre lots out here, roughly 600 acres of land. That is a very small subdivision. And I'm going to guess, if you look at this map, maybe only, a quarter of that has been developed, 15, 20 lots, something like that. All of the developed lots seem to be right here along this road, which is Ricardo Road. Should be noted, guys, this is State Road 304 right here. You turn off here on Ricardo, and that leads you into the subdivision. Now, as noted, subject property sits over here. I do, however, just want to kind of focus your attention on some of the home sites here. One of the things that I really like about this subdivision, and it's one of the things that I think affects the property values out here and makes land so, inherently valuable or more expensive than other parts of the county, is when we zoom in on the lots right here, what we're going to see are some pretty nice SFRs, some pretty nice single-family residences over here. I don't know if the term family farm is correct. I don't know if you want to call them a ranchette. I think they're at 10 acres, they're probably too small to be that. But you will see that a lot of these people have some kind of agricultural operation or they keep livestock on their land. This looks like one of them, et cetera, et cetera. But you'll find a lot of nice houses up and down this road. And I think if we zoom in on these, you can get a sense of not only the fact that it's kind of a nice built-up home site, but there is what we will call a pride of ownership. That's our phrase for the day, guys. Pride of ownership out here with these properties. And I think you'll see that with all the home sites, even if they're not as developed as this one is, you're going to see just some kind of nice, respectable homes out here. Now, this region, let me go back here. This region is zoned Rural Residential 1, and I'll get into that a little bit more, what that means, a little bit later in the video. But there's a lot of areas of Valencia County. I think pretty much everything that's not zoned commercial or agricultural is zoned RR1. It's their catch-all designation. And we've posted that zoning PDF on countless listing pages over the years for property in this region. I am trying, hang on a second, guys. I'm trying to show you more houses out here. And, it's a pretty detailed little PDF. It's about 6 pages of you can do this, you can't do that, you can apply for a permit to do this and that, and so on and so forth. And I can't believe, based off all the land that I have seen in this county, that anybody is enforcing or abiding by the RR1 designations. There are a lot of home sites out here that do not have, quote, pride of ownership. They've got 20 junk cars parked in the backyard, and they're training dogs to fight and kill each other in the front yard. That's what you will find in a lot of properties. That, however, is not the case out here in the Vista Manzano Estates, where you have some people who have spent a good amount of money to build up some nice home sites, to have a nice chunk of land, etc. That is why I keep focusing on this term pride of ownership, because it suggests to me not only that the property values out here will at the very least maintain their value or continue to rise over time steadily, a little bit, right? But it also means you've got some respectable neighbors who will also kind of expect you to be a respectable neighbor. And that is the point of me pointing at all these nice home sites. Now, of course, you've got 10 acres of land. There's a lot of privacy in that. There's a good amount of space between you and the next guy. But nonetheless, some nice home sites out here. And it suggests something about kind of the mentality of the region. If you kind of zoom in on any of the home sites throughout Valencia County, you're not going to find ones that are as nice in development as these are. Okay. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So point being, the subject property sits here off of Jennifer Street. If we go back to the plat map, this is the subject parcel right here. This is the zoomed in view, 333 feet of road frontage here along your eastern boundary along Jennifer. And then, of course, guys, we've got Where's it at? We've got photos from the subject property. So this is the road frontage here. It should be noted, guys. And yes, I'm going back to the map again. The state highway out here takes you down to this Ricardo Street. Ricardo is paved. Ricardo takes you over to here. Pretty much the entire journey until you bang this sharp right turn here on Jennifer is paved road. And then when you get out to Jennifer, this is what the road looks like out here. Well-maintained dirt gravel. Point being, you're going to be able to navigate this in any vehicle type. So that's always a good thing. Not too rough, not too rocky. It's not going to tear up the undercarriage of your car driving out here. Additionally, of course, you've got the power at the lot line, power at the base of the subject parcel. Just go back to this for a second. So this, of course, is always a benefit, particularly if you're going to develop the land. It means you don't have to call the power company and have them run cable and run poles for half a mile to get out to your property. It's already out here, so it's an inherent savings, an inherent value to any potential buyer. Underground utilities out here. This box has seen better days. I think it's safe to say that. That being said, of course, the whole area out here, this Vista Manzano community, is outfitted with cable and internet, Wi-Fi, so on and so forth. And also in this photo, you can also see one of the boundary markers out here. Here's the second one. Here's the third one. For some reason, we don't have a picture of a fourth one, but I promise it's out there. Anyway, additionally, guys, warning, Neighborhood Crime Watch, again, suggests pride of ownership amongst the neighbors. We've got some of the developed home sites out here. Absent being able to, if you have questions about, hey, I want to build out here, can I do X, Y, and Z? Absent being able to get anybody on the phone from zoning, because they're not always the easiest to get on the phone, sometimes just kind of driving the region gives you a sense of what's doable, what your neighbors are doing, gives you a sense of what you'll be able to pull off. You can see some mobile homes out here, some modular homes. You can see this kind of looks like, what is this? This looks like something that might be housing livestock or something, some kind of, well, I don't want to call it a barn. I'm not entirely certain what exactly it'd be called, but you get the point, okay? Additionally, some developed home sites here and here, some quaint little houses. Of course, I showed some of the more developed home sites along that Ricardo Boulevard, but either way, you could get a sense of what the homes are like out here. The photo gallery gets a little visually redundant. I do, however, like to point out that this is some nice, flat, buildable land, so it's not the kind of thing where you're going to have to spend a lot of money on landscaping or excavating. You could pretty much show up, park, or start building whatever it is that you want out here, start developing it without having to worry too much about that. As always, guys, I'll direct your attention down here to the bottom of the gallery where we have the overhead drone shots, which give you a sense of the exact footprint of the land and its proximity to some of the other neighbors. And, of course, you can see some of those aforementioned home sites that are here along this Ricardo Boulevard. You can also see exactly where this paved road ends and leads to Jennifer over here, just so you know I'm not making it up. Anyway, if you go through this, you'll get all the various angles on the property. Additionally, guys, we will have a drone video down here at the bottom of the page. You can watch that and get a better sense of the property, the terrain, the surroundings, so on and so forth. Now, it bears mentioning, guys, as always, we like to talk about zoning. We like to talk about HOAs and covenants. This property has no recorded covenants and restrictions. It has no HOA, and ergo, people, ergo, a little bit of Latin, it has no annual dues. Aside from the annual taxes to the county, which are a little under $300, no HOA out here telling you what you can and cannot do with the land. That's up to Valencia County zoning. They are not without zoning ordinances, but as I remarked earlier, I can't believe anybody's enforcing them. Whatever the case, in the interest of full disclosure, we like to make our buyers aware of these. So if you click this link right here, guys, it will take you to the excerpt from the Valencia County zoning ordinance. It goes into what an RR1 district is, what you can do, what you can't do out here. The big one I like to point out to people is down here on page 2. Recreational vehicles shall not be used as primary residences in this region. That's the one we get the most calls and questions about. That being said, if you read through this, you might have some minor questions that'll be answered by this. But again, I've seen a lot of parcels in Valencia County. I don't believe the county is enforcing any of this. But just so you know what the letter of the zoning law is, please do give this a read, particularly, guys, if you're going to part with $40,000 for the property. Blah, blah, blah. Additionally, guys, just going back here to the listing page for a second, I want to point out we've got some helpful links here. I mentioned that PNM is the local utility company that services this region. Of course, if you do have questions for them, or if your contractor has questions for them about cost, logistics of getting connected to whatever you decide to build on the land, reach out to them in advance of the purchase. Talk to them about that, about cost, logistics. Always good to have those conversations in advance. Additionally, guys, we do have links here to the Office of the State Engineer. This, of course, is the government entity in New Mexico responsible for, this image is paused, responsible for all well permits, water rights within the state. So most likely you're going to be drilling a well out here. Reach out to them, talk to them about cost, about logistics, or just reach out to local well drillers, people familiar with the region, guys who work this area all the time will have an excellent sense of water table depth, of cost, so on and so forth. I'm going to pause the video for a moment here, people. There we go. We refreshed the browser. We got the animation going again. Anyway, this is what that website normally looks like. So if this is something you guys are interested in purchasing, I will tell you that we closed on this through New Mexico Land and Title. That means we got title insurance. That means we will be providing you, the buyer, with a warranty deed. So to kick off this process, come up here, click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to this secure checkout, where we're going to ask people, I love to stress this in the videos, a non-refundable earnest money deposit. We're going to ask for this $500 non-refundable dollars as down payment on the property, kind of kick off the process, show us that you are a serious buyer, give us your information, legal name for deed, tax address, so on and so forth. Agree to the terms of service, click next, and on the very next page, you can enter credit or debit card information to place that $500 non-refundable earnest money deposit. As always, guys, when we get up into this price range, this anything north of $10,000, but particularly $40,000, we recommend to you, the buyer, not only get title insurance, but let's bring a title company into this. Let's introduce a third-party intermediary who's going to handle the conveyance of the land as well as your money. That way you're not giving $40,000 to some strangers on the internet, okay? You're giving it to a reputable title company, and we'll let them handle all this. The way this works, guys, we got a page on our website. It's called How It Works, Buying From Us. This is going to go into this process in a lot more detail. If you're not familiar with it, or if I go too fast in the video, this is a good page to review. Whatever the case, step 1, place money. Step 2, we draft a contract, submit it to title. That's step 3. And step 4, they do the rest. And generally it takes about 30 days, something like that, at the end of which they're going to ask you for the remaining money, the remaining $39,500. They're going to have us sign a deed, and we're going to convey the property to you, and they are not going to release your money to us until such a time as we have done that. So it's an extra bit of peace of mind for you, the buyer. And in case you're wondering, hey, Hemingway, what am I being asked to sign before I give you any money at all? Come up here and click this link, guys. It's going to take you to a generic version of one of our standard sale purchase agreements. This, of course, pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to read. One page for signatures. You got a lawyer friend you want to review this, be our guest. But this is what we will be asking you to sign. And of course, title will not do anything until they have a signed sale purchase agreement from buyer and seller. And we will not draft such a document until we have money, until we have a $500 earnest money deposit. Okay? And by the way, guys, just want to point out to you, if you have questions about the title escrow process, if you haven't purchased land or a house before, you're unfamiliar with how that works, we got another helpful page. We like to be informative, guys. We got another helpful page on our website, Title Escrow, Frequently Asked Questions. Click on this. It'll take you to this page where you can learn more about this process. Every conceivable question that you will have, I promise, guys, is answered on this page. We go into great detail here. We'll kind of walk you through how this works, all the pros, very few of the cons, what the costs are, so on and so forth, all right? Anyway, guys, with all that said, hope you like this property as much as I do. As I remarked earlier, I've been trying for a long time to get property in this region. I think this is a very enviable subdivision, which is why there are so few lots out here and why they are so expensive to begin with. Close to development, a lot of space, a lot of privacy, and of course the utilities, so on and so forth. And also just to be in a nice kind of residential community of Valencia County that's not too junky, right? Not too many junky houses. Some really nice houses out here. Pride of ownership yet again. Anyway, guys, thanks as always for your attention span. If you have any questions, shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video.